Now at 10 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the murder trial of Blake Downs in Port Lavaca reaches a verdict. Reporter Trenton Whiting has the story. And a vehicle crashes into a business off North Navarro. No major injuries reported. Plus, teachers in Ganado commemorated at a local send-off. We hear from the superintendent tonight.
And we'll be taking a look at the storm out on the East Coast and the lack of anything other than heat being over Texas. We're looking for triple digits this week, so we'll have all that coming up in a moment.
And the Ganado Indians prepare for big high school football season coming up here in a couple of weeks. That's in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Karina Garcia. Don Brubaker has the night off. Blake Downs is now a convicted killer. The 23-year-old shot and killed 19-year-old Cohen Berm. Reporter Trenton Whiting has the story.
Thank you, Karina. A Calhoun County jury found Blake Downs guilty of murdering 19-year-old Cohen Berm. The jury deliberated for 5 hours before delivering the verdict. A few of Berm's childhood friends and his mom testified, explaining how life has been difficult since he was killed. His mother recalls that about a week before Cohen's murder, he told her he was saving money to buy a plot of land to build a home because he wanted to marry his girlfriend and start a life there. His mother says today is a sad day despite receiving her desired verdict. One of Downs' friends provided another example of his violent behavior following the decision. The sentencing phase begins tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the Calhoun County Courthouse, where Downs could face anywhere from 5 to 99 years to life in prison. We'll be on the scene to give you the latest after the sentencing. Back to you, Karina.
Trenton, thank you. This morning around 11:15, a vehicle crashed into the front of this local restaurant. The front of this establishment at 3810 North Navarro Street caved in after the collision. The Victoria Police Department says the driver was ready to place their car in the parking lot. Instead of pressing the brake, the accelerator was pushed. The Dodge drove into the building. No one was hurt except for a small scratch on a girl's foot. More than a day after Debbie made landfall in Florida as a Category 1 hurricane, tens of thousands of people in Florida are still without power.
Tropical storm Debbie is once again churning in the warm ocean water of the Atlantic, expected to re-strengthen just a few dozen miles off the coast. First hitting Florida, Debbie is forecast to strengthen, turn, and make a second landfall in South Carolina later this week.
We were preparing for that kind of heavy rainfall and the danger that comes with that kind of flooding.
Officials already report at least 5 deaths across 2 states due to Debbie.
We strongly advise residents to stay off the roads if at all possible.
Even communities that escaped a direct hit earlier this week are reeling from torrential rain and immense flooding, including in Sarasota, Florida.
We definitely saw very high water rise very quickly there, and we are bracing for more.
More than 17 inches of rain fell, causing the city's wettest 3-day period on record, with water all the way up to rooftops in some places. The storm is expected to head back toward land come Thursday and then sweep up the East Coast.
This storm isn't over yet, so we urge everyone in its path to remain vigilant.
While all eyes are on Debbie, that tropical storm could be just an appetizer of what's to come. Colorado State University forecasters are calling for an abnormally active August in the Atlantic, with an 85% chance of above normal hurricane activity through the 19th. In South Carolina, I'm Brian Abel.
And with that, let's take a look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Bittis. Mac, you've been tracking Debbie yourself. What is your thought on this?
Absolutely. And in fact, last week we were telling you about the biblical rains, 16 to 18, 10, 15 inches of rain. Sarasota, Florida came in with exactly 16 inches of rain. Well, now, as the guy just mentioned, the storm is out over water, so it's likely to strengthen up a little bit and make this really weird turn here. And it's going to make a landfall again in South Carolina and then go all the way up the Appalachians. So now it's no longer Florida, now it's South Carolina, and it'll be up in New York State in about a day or so. We'll be tracking that for you and telling you about the very hot weather that's coming to us coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Mac, thank you. It's been nearly 80 years since the Nazi concentration camps were liberated and survivors were freed. In Texas, a 95-year-old Holocaust survivor wrote a book to tell his story.
My eyes have seen an Auschwitz. I can't sleep at night.
Born in Poland in 1928, 95-year-old Ben Lesser provides a perspective that is becoming rarer every year. As a child, he survived 4 Nazi concentration camps, including Auschwitz. While in Nazi captivity, Ben went on a 7-week-long death march, was stabbed by an inmate, and saw death with his own eyes.
Those children alive on top of these half-dead people were being thrown into these fiery pits. My barrack was one barrack away from the fiery pit. And day and night, we hear the screams.
Years after he was liberated in Dachau, Ben has made it a mission to tell his story. He wrote a book detailing his experiences in Nazi Germany and created the Zohar Foundation, which educates on the events of the Holocaust. To spread his message, he gives out pins that hold a particular significance.
So each pin has its very special meaning. It says, remember, and remember the Holocaust.
Between October 7th and December 7th of last year, anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. increased by over 300%. That's according to the Anti-Defamation League. As the same anti-Semitism the Nazis harbored rises among modern hate groups, Ben offers a lesson from the Holocaust.
Hatred has to stop. Hitler and the Nazis did not start with killing. It all started with hate. Why hate? Love and hate are both contagious. So choose love.
3 people injured in Texas after they used bathrooms with explosives hitting under the toilet seats. It happened last month at 2 car washes in San Antonio. Police say Paul Moses Booby trapped the toilet seats with commercial fireworks designed to explode when a pressure is added to it. He is now facing a charge of arson with bodily injury. Security camera footage shows the suspect entering and leaving the bathrooms, then watching the bathroom door from the lobby and leaving after the explosions. Healthcare workers in Houston are upset over a hiring freeze. One worker says the past 2 weeks have been a nightmare after leaving her job in California. She says everything was set and she was ready to work at the Texas Children's Hospital until she got a call saying the job is being put on hold. Her attorney says she's not the only one being affected by a hiring freeze.
And they said, well, it has been going on for 2 months. And then I was like, I was offered the job in 2 months. So you were already aware. Why didn't you even tell me or inform me? So I was kind of like prepared. And they said, well, we didn't know it was getting that close or it was affecting your hiring.
The hospital was contacted for a response on Monday and last week. No word as of yet. Elon Musk's social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, is suing a major group of advertisers over an alleged ad boycott. The lawsuit filed in a Texas federal court accuses the Global Alliance for Responsible Media of antitrust violations. The lawsuit claims the group blocked billions in ad revenue due to concerns over brand safety changes since Musk's 2020 claim of Twitter. Known as GAR, the group helps brands avoid ads appearing with harmful content. The company has yet to comment on the lawsuit. The Ganado ISD teachers and staff were celebrated this morning with a send-off. The cheerleading team, the marching band, and a tractor made for a joyous event like this one was meant to show the community's appreciation for district educators. Superintendent Jonathan Shaminsky says the send-off is usually for students, but this year he wanted to do something special for the teachers.
And I want to show them how much we appreciate them. In this day and age where it's hard to find teachers, we have some fantastic ones here in Ganado, and it's our job to grow them and harvest them and keep them here as long as we can.
The superintendent says Ganado ISD teachers were recently given raises as part of the district's effort to attract and retain talent. This year, Ganado ISD is also celebrating 125 years of educating students. So here is your viewer poll tonight. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen to vote. The question is, what is your biggest concern as your children go back to school? Is it safety and security, academic performance, social interaction, health and wellness, or bullying? According to our results tonight, it looks like safety and security take the lead with 40%. Thank you for voting tonight. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. The Boeing investigation reveals shocking new details about missing bolts. That's coming up on 25 News Now at 10. Also ahead, Governor Tim Walz steps into the national spotlight, highlighting his journey from teacher and soldier to progressive policymaker. Vice President Kamala Harris picked Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate. Walz announced his new role on the ticket by posting a campaign video introducing himself to Americans. Before becoming governor in 2019, he represented Minnesota in the House for over a decade. Before his political career, he taught high school, coached football, and served in the Army National Guard. As governor, he pushed progressive policies, including universal free school breakfast and lunch, protection for abortion rights, and firearm restrictions. Boeing executives are among those testifying today and tomorrow at NTSB hearing into that mid-flight blowout of a plane on board an Alaska Airlines jet earlier this year. This as investigators are trying to piece together what led to that incident.
Executives from Boeing and Spirit AeroSystems getting grilled today at a National Transportation Safety Board hearing into the circumstances around that mid-air blowout on board a Boeing 737 MAX jet in January.
This isn't a PR campaign for Boeing. What is very confusing for a lot of people who are watching, who are listening, is what was going on then. This is an investigation on what happened on January 5th.
The plane had just taken off from Portland, Oregon, en route to Ontario, California. The crew had to make an emergency landing back in Portland after a door plug blew off at 16,000 feet, leaving a hole in the side of the plane. The NTSB's preliminary report says during manufacture, the door plug was removed to repair an unrelated problem, but when it was reinstalled, the NTSB says 4 bolts were never put back on. Factory workers describing concerns about Boeing facilities.
One Boeing employee, not a contractor, said planes come in jacked up every day. Planes come in jacked up every day. Meaning you were, at the time, receiving quote-unquote jacked up planes. All the planes that another employee, All the planes that come to us always have an issue with structures, skins, open holes.
Boeing says it has made changes since the incident, including implementing a final product verification for each fuselage and a new design for the part of the fuselage that blew out.
So they have done a review assessment of ways to improve it, to make sure that we make it so it can't move again. And these are the changes that are in work because they felt that those would be even more secure, and that's what we're proceeding to work on.
The board released 3,800 pages of reports and interviews from the ongoing investigation. A final report on the blowout, including probable causes and recommendations, could take a year to 18 months to complete. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Recreational marijuana is now on sale across the state of Ohio. The state's Division of Cannabis Control issued the first dual-use dispensary certificates for operation today. Ohio voters approved the issue back in November to legalize the possession and use of marijuana by individuals aged 21 and over. There are currently 98 dispensaries across the state that have been approved to sell both medicinal and recreational marijuana products. Now, those who love to participate in outdoor activities could be at risk for heat illness, with this summer being among the hottest on record.
The CDC is warning people about the seriousness of heat-related illnesses in light of recent heat waves. You should take these important steps to protect your health during the heat. Limit outdoor activity, especially during the middle of the day when the sun is hottest, if possible. Drink more water than usual, and don't wait until you're thirsty to drink more. It's also important to watch for signs of trouble, including cramping, muscle pain, and difficulty walking. Nausea, confusion, and fainting are also concerning symptoms of heat stroke, a condition that can lead to organ failure and even death. Anyone exercising in high temperatures is vulnerable to heat illness, but athletes, including football players, runners, and cyclists, are at high risk. So are people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes and heart disease. If you have concerns about staying active in hot weather, consult with your doctor. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
Roughly 400 Texans landed in emergency rooms for carbon monoxide poisoning after Hurricane Beryl hit the state on July 8th, marking the highest number since the storm of 2021. You can read this full Texas Tribune article on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. 82 degrees out there, fairly mild. Not a bad afternoon after a really hot day. We got up to 98 this afternoon, and that means that we're definitely pushing the triple digits for the next few days. 96 is our average high. The temperatures are going to be the factor over the weekend, and like they were talking, we just have to learn how to deal with the heat. We'll talk about that and take a look at Debbie coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. With a fairly nice evening after a very hot afternoon. And you know, we were here last year when we had 60 days of 100-degree temperatures. We haven't had that this year, and that's okay. We don't want to go there, but we got to know that we're going to be dealing with some hot stuff coming up. The breeze out of the southeast has been very light. I don't know if you've noticed that. There's been no real wind, and that's all because the high pressure is stacked on top of us, and all the air is sinking down. As a result, we are going to be on the hot side. Now, Debbie is actually out over the water again. In fact, we're going to talk about that in a second. What you see here is all this gray area. This is the air pollution advisories for Houston, Galveston, Waco, all the way down to San Antonio. You and I, every time we turn our car on, we pollute because it's a combustion engine and it shoots stuff out the back end. Well, when there is no breeze to actually stir that away or disperse of the pollutants, they sort of build up. So in our major cities, I'm sure Dallas is in the same situation, they're going to have that problem. Now, that's when you really have to, if you don't have emphysema or bronchial problems, that's when it gets to you. Down here, we see Debbie actually going out over the water. Down here earlier this week, there was some possibility of a weak system developing very far south. It's less of a shot and is farther south. So because the area that you and I are under is dominated by high pressure, it's really not coming in our direction. So if anything does develop, and I don't think it will, it'll be headed into the southern bay of Campeche. Now, as you see here, Debbie's out over the water. It might strengthen back up again, maybe not to hurricane force, but just a little bit. And then it comes back onshore in the Charleston area, and then it goes straight up the Appalachian Ridge. It's strange how this storm does not want to, go away. You can see the circulation. You can see how the strong side of the storm will be affecting the Carolinas all the way up. Well, let's see how far north will this thing go. Well, you can see on this map the future rain, the heaviest stuff in the Carolinas when it arrives, but even Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, even Canada is going to get a piece of Debbie in a couple of days. We are not in the rain business because high pressure is on top of us, and as it backed up, it allowed Debbie to start moving northbound. And as it stays here, it's just going to prevent it from moving in this direction. So we've got nothing to worry about that. And even if anything forms south of us, this would keep it away. So the heat dome is really going to be in charge of pretty much everything. You can see how all of these counties of Texas, all the way up into Nebraska and all the way down into the southern states are dealing with the heat wave advisories for the next couple of days. So, yep, wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow, no problem there. 97, however, is the high in Port Lavaca, 98 out in Cuero. Again, if you're going to be working outdoors in the middle of the part of the day, you just got to get plenty of breaks and plenty of fluids because by Thursday, we're looking for 100, 101 on Friday. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today on your phone. You know, hot August means pretty soon fall will be here with football. Ain't that right, Max?
Yeah, football season, and also talking about a little bit of baseball kind of filling up as well. Victoria East baseball player, football player, Kason Coley. He's ready to play in the area code game in Long Beach, California. That's coming up here in sports. All right, everyone. So yesterday we highlighted the beginning of Texas high school football here in the Crossroads with beginning of training camps for multiple teams. With that being said, though, here in the Crossroads today, we'll be highlighting 3 2A Division I teams this week. And tonight we start with the Ganado Indians. They come into this season as the preseason #1 team after losing the state semifinals #1 team in Timpson. It was a heartbreaking loss where they had the lead, but then in the second half, Timpson scored 21 unanswered points, and Ganado would lose in the semifinals. So they got to find a way, and they bring back a lot of veteran experience. Senior quarterback Bryce Ullman, running back and DB in Logan Burrs, and DB wide receiver Austin Pena. And they also have Josh Irvin back there for the Indians as they propel to get a big season and maybe win it all this time around for Ganado. Now moving from the gridiron to the baseball mound. A couple weeks back here on 25 News Now, I covered the High Plains Shootout, where 2 local Victoria stars and Ryan Steele and Kason Coley competed on both Team Texas Red and Team Texas Navy. But Coley is now competing currently in another huge baseball showcase in the Area Code Games. It's held in Long Beach, California. It's a big event here for Coley as he prepares to complete this event and then go into football season next Monday as quarterback for Victoria East. So I'm going to try to get some more information from Coley, see how he feels about this event happening here and the football season coming up later on KVU TV 25 News Now. Now over to the majors. The Houston Astros, they almost no-hit the Rangers tonight at Globe Life Field. Starting pitcher Raymond Valdez did outstanding work on the mound. He threw 8 2/3 innings, recorded 5 Ks, only allowed 1 hit in total. This would be huge, but Corey Seager, man, with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, he would break the no-hit bid. And man, the Astros would still win the game 4-2. Yordan Alvarez would get a big 2-run shot to help the Astros win. And man, that was a big little revenge game for the Astros to win over the Rangers tonight. Now over the Olympic stage, U.S. men's basketball team. They beat Brazil earlier today, 123-87. They were focused on, again, they were up 33-21 in the first quarter. And man, Devin Booker had 18 points. Anthony Edwards, he had again 12. And LeBron James also had 12. So Team USA, they won all games in the group stage and not lost one yet. They play Serbia's Nikola Jokic on Thursday. If they win that game, they play in the gold medal match, and if they lose, they'll have to play in the bronze medal match. So wish Team USA luck. And then other information, sports analyst Charles Barkley said he's going to get out of retirement and he's going to be back on TNT Sports. Again, this is a reaffirmed long-term commitment as the network's parent company, Warner Brothers Discovery, fights to keep the NBA broadcasting rights. The Hall of Famer said he'll be back on Inside the NBA, and in June, the broadcasting icon next year will be on his last on TV. But in a statement Tuesday, Barkley walked back and he said, "Man, I'm coming back and finish the remainder of my contract." So good to possibly hear there for Charles Barkley. That's all here in sports. Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Max, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we're going to take a last look at your weather. Plus, Smokey the Bear marks a milestone with a visit to the White House. Brooke Shields is auctioning off the jeans she wore in a 1980s Calvin Klein ad campaign that sparked controversy at the time. Shields, now 59, was just 15 at the time. The jeans will be auctioned in October. Shields is also auctioning off her high school cheerleading sweater and her script from the 1980 film The Blue Lagoon. Now, Smokey the Bear visited the White House briefing room ahead of his 80th birthday, which is on Friday. Smokey Bear is the iconic symbol of wildfire prevention. To celebrate this milestone, the U.S. Forest Service planned a year-long celebration, starting with Smokey sharing his famous phrase, "Only you can prevent those wildfires." And that is very much true. And, you know, we have this heat wave coming over. We're actually experiencing that heat wave right now.
Yeah, and not that I want to ever argue with Smokey the Bear, but in addition to we, who are the main problem, there are hot engines, there's glass, there's cans, there's other things that actually do spark the fires. And so for all of us who are going to be under this heat wave for the next week, yeah, you just need to be cautious. Anything that gets going is going to be hard to stop because everything's going to dry up very quickly. So just know that we're in the hot and dry part of the season with tomorrow's heat index in the afternoon getting up to 110. And same thing on Thursday when we should be hitting 100 degrees. We're at 98 today. So the question is 99 as hot as 100? I mean, really, can you tell the difference? Can you tell the difference?
I feel like it's no. I'm gonna tell you no right now.
Just triple digits, though.
I don't even know.
That's the one thing.
That's a kill.
I can't even feel the difference between 97 and 100. So
yeah.
You know.
So, but I think tomorrow we'll be feeling it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mac. Now, tomorrow is National Lighthouse Day. The beacons of light help to keep ships at sea safe, but also have uniquely represented their coastal communities. The Sandy Hook Lighthouse in New Jersey, built in 1764, is the oldest existing structure in the United States, and it's still in operation. By the end of the 19th century, the U.S. had the most lighthouses of any other nation. But with expensive maintenance, the number of operating lighthouses for that matter, has declined. Can I say that I've been to the top of a lighthouse? I have not.
Oh,
but I hear it's a great place to.
We have one at Pascavallo there. I've been to a couple, so that's pretty. It's very interesting. Really, you consider that whole going up the spiral staircase to the top. You're walking in history.
Oh shoot, I lied. There's a lighthouse in Port Lavaca, right?
Yes.
Okay, I lied. I have been.
Well, the little one, the short one.
Yeah. Alrighty. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Don't forget to join the Sunrise crew for 25 News Now Sunrise.